Thanks for watching another episode. I'm coming back to the Rover, and it has been sitting here for a month, which is about when I published the video of me finally getting it out of the garage. Now, in that video, I had said I'm not going to connect the rear brake because it's broken. But then I connected anyways because there's a brake balancer up in the front, and if you don't have both brakes hooked up, they don't really work. So I hooked it up anyways, knowing that it was just a horrible idea, and I actually got the Rover stuck in the garden up there by the table, and basically the brakes just completely froze up on me. It would go forward, it really had to work for it, but it would not go in reverse, so I couldn't get out. So just to show you what happened here, that brake backing plate was only cracked, and it is just totally busted. I removed the cables once it was stuck, just trying to free up that brake, but it didn't happen. So it's been sitting here for, yeah, like I said, a month, and it's not moving. I dragged it here with the tractor. Kind of took out something the goats have been working on taking out anyways, so don't feel too bad about the privet bush there. So now I gotta work on getting this back down to the garage, and getting it into the garage is gonna be a different story, because I have a bunch of junk in front of the garage. Starting with my trailer, gotta move that out and clear up some space, open the garage door, get it in, and see what can be salvaged from those brakes. So hopefully the hinge or the mounting bracket that the brakes go onto, it kind of bent back with the backing plate. So I'm gonna have to beat that into submission hopefully and get it going here. But yeah, first up, gotta get access to the garage. And as always, that is easier said than done. But if you look here, we have something special. I bought my old lathe back, and I have moved it into the garage. Let's go ahead and take a look here. I also got my welding cylinder filled. Yay. Alright, so as you can see, kind of a mess in here. Been working on cleaning it up, but lo and behold, there it is. It's a lot of cleaning. I've been scraping away at it. Give you kind of a before and after here. Not really a whole lot of blue, and I'm pretty sure that I've already kind of preemptively brushed everything off and scrubbed it. Got a little bit more blue showing there. Pretty grimy. But other than some chips in the paint, parts that I have cleaned are cleaning up nice. So coming soon in another video, I'm going to be wiring this lathe up, finishing up getting it all leveled out and hopefully adjusted so everything's true. And this thing's got a 3-phase, 3 horsepower motor. I do not have 3-phase power, so I've got a phase converter on the way. Unfortunately, as far as with that little boxel handle, I'm already maxed out, and that's only giving me, well, I've got my mill plugged into where I'm supposed to plug my welder in, and then that cord goes on over there, so that's sharing a circuit, and then the only way I can plug that one in is basically to share the cord with the other mill and plug it into my welder plug. Coming in on 50 amp service from the house, it's not leaving me a lot of room here, because I've also got the air compressor, which is a 6 horsepower motor on it, 220. It's got its own 30 amp breaker. So unfortunately, it is going to be a situation where I'm only able to run 1 to maybe 2 machines at a time. I'll have to upgrade my electrical panel to support the extra circuit I'll have to add, and then one of these days run better power from the house. But first, we got to get the rover done. So, I got a few things to get out of the way here. Alright, so first things first here, I got the rover down at the garage, and I'm going to pull the tires off. I'm going to pull them off with the hubs, so I'm just going to take this center crown nut here, and you got to get the cotter pin out. Probably don't want to be too hard on these if you plan on reusing them. Otherwise, if you've got a bucket of new ones, do whatever it takes to get it out of here, I guess. Alright. And then that nut, I think it's 15/16. Yeah. Then you can pull the whole wheel hub and everything off, since we got to get the axle out of here. Just so I don't lose stuff. It's actually probably a bad idea. So, keep everything together, and then do that to the other side. Alright, so next up is the bearing. That one, I believe, is 14mm. Nope. Oh, millimeter. Yeah, 12mm. And I don't have that socket out. Alright, so the back side of that one has the nylock nut on it. So you'll definitely need a 12mm wrench to hold it. This one's 17mm. And I'm gonna go grab a socket. Alright, so there's two different lengths here. The short one is on the bottom, and it has the plate behind it, so if it was as long as this one, you wouldn't be able to thread it all the way down, whereas this one, basically it's open in the back, so there's a little bit more free space. So pay attention when you're taking these out. The short one goes on the bottom, the long one goes on the top. Now, let's see. to dealing with brake cables again, my favorite. I guess it beats having to deal with leaking hydraulic fluid everywhere. Oh no, they went to, I didn't remember which size to grab, I guess. Must be 13 millimeter. But let's go in because on these things they had no problem whatsoever bouncing back and forth between metric and standard. And, well, 12 millimeter and half inch, or I'm sorry, 13 millimeter and half inch do actually fit about the same, but 12 millimeter absolutely does not. So I've got a, I guess just whichever half inch 13 millimeter will do it. This one, a little bit harder to access. It's pinched up against the backing plate there. So this side of the axle's free. Now we gotta disconnect the chain sprocket. That's 14 millimeter on this side and 17 millimeter on the nylock nut on the back side. Alright, I don't know how much more I gotta, well, I guess plenty. Moving on to the other side. Alright, so these brakes do need to come out. Or brake cables. Well, it doesn't look like there's any way around it. Well, there she is.